Hello students, today we are going to discuss about three important classes, and that is Cyclostomata, Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. So students, in previous lecture we have already discussed about subphylum Vertebrata and why it is considered as a vertebrata. In detail we have already discussed in previous lecture, and this vertebrata subphylum can also called as a Craniata. Okay, in this vertebrata we have already discussed it can be divided into two main groups: Agnatha, that is a jawless organisms, and Agnathostomata, they are considered as a bearing of a jaws. So Gnathostomata having jaws and this Agnatha do not have jaws. Okay, this is a major differences. So Agnatha having a class Cyclostomata, and which we will discuss today in this lecture. Okay, and Gnathostomata having two subclasses, superclasses, superclass species which will bear the fins, and superclass Tetrapoda which will bear the limbs. Okay, so this superclass further divide into classes. The superclass species further divide into Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes, which we will learn in today's lecture. Okay, next lecture we will learn about superclass Tetrapoda, and that further divide into class Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and the Mammalia. So in today's lecture we are going to discuss about three classes: Cyclostomata, Chondrichthyes, Osteichthyes. Okay, so let me start with first with the Cyclostomata. Okay, so here all are ectoparasite. First of all, let me discuss what is an ectoparasite. Ecto, that means outside, and parasite means which are depend for the food on the other organisms. So here you can see the photograph. Here this fish is acting as a host. Okay, and this is the Cyclostomata which is firmly attached with this fish. Okay, it will suck the nutrition from this fish, and this fish is now called as a host. Okay, so these Cyclostomata will be remain outside of the fish. It will firmly attach with the mouth with the fish. The mouth is looking like this. Okay, the Cyclostomata having this type of mouth which is sucker type mouth. Okay, so by using this mouth it will firmly attach with the host, and it will suck all nutrition from the host. Okay, so this is the ectoparasitic activity, and they will do ectoparasitic activity on some fishes. Here you can see the photograph. In this photograph also you can see the attachment, and here in this photograph also you can see the attachment. Here elongated body without scales. You can see here this is a very smooth surface on the body. Okay, there is a total absent of any type of scales, and even paired fins will be absent. So here fins are not there. Okay, and 6 to 15 pair of gill slits. Here you can see this is the gill slits, this one. Okay, number of these gill slits may be 6 to 15, in between 6 to 15, and here this gill slit will play a very important role for the respiration. Okay, that means gill slit will play important role as a respiratory organ. Now sucking and circular mouth, it is the very important unique feature of this class. Okay, and the name Cyclostomata, suppose this is the mouth, circular mouth, just because of this mouth. Okay, and the structure of mouth, it is a circular mouth, just because of presence of such a kind of a mouth, these class is considered as a Cyclostomata. Cyclo, that means circular, stomata means the mouth which is of having without jaws. Okay, so this mouth do not have any type of jaws, and they are sucking type of mouth. So sucking and circular mouth without jaws will be present, and that is why only this group is considered, or this class is considered as a Cyclostomata. So name of a class is given just because of this unique character. Okay, cartilaginous cranium is present over here, and vertebral column. Okay, so this group is having a vertebrata subphylum. Okay, so these are included into subphylum vertebrata, and you know very well all vertebrata will have vertebral column. So here Cyclostomata is also one kind of a vertebrata. Okay, one class of a vertebrata subphylum, and that's here also vertebral column will be present. Okay, and internal skeletal system is made up of cartilaginous cranium. Circulation is a closed type. Okay, you must be remember here circulation will be of closed type, and this point is very important. You should remember this. These all organisms are marine actually. Okay, but when they give egg, means whenever they lay the egg or a spawning process occur, egg laying process is called swarming process. Okay, so at the time of spawning or egg laying process, they will migrate to the fresh water. even though they are marine, but at the time of a egg laying process, that is a swarming process, at that time they will migrate to the fresh water. Okay, and another very important thing you have to notice here, after swarming process, mean after giving the eggs, they will die. Okay, this is also very unique feature of this organism. Their larva here development will be indirect. Okay, so larval form will be observed, and this larval form get matured, and this maturation process is called metamorphosis. So after getting matured, this larval form further from the fresh water, it will migrate towards the marine. Okay, means it will return to the ocean. So this is very interesting phenomena which is only found in this group of animals. Okay, let me repeat what happened. The cyclostomata organisms are actually marine, but they will migrate for swarming. The swarming is, you can understand now, it is egg laying process. Okay, so during egg laying process, they will migrate towards the fresh water from the marine water. And very interestingly, after giving eggs or a spawning process, they will die. Okay, and their larva remain at that place, means in the fresh water, and in the fresh water this larva will be maturized. Okay, and that process is called metamorphosis process. And after metamorphosis process, the larva will get matured. Okay, and after maturation further it will return or migrate towards the ocean or a marine water. And this is very interesting and unique feature of this class. Okay, so you must remember this one. And here you can see two examples are given. One is a petromyzon. Okay, here in this diagram you can see petromyzon, and that is also called lamprey. You have to remember this all example along with the brackets. Okay, so this may be alternatively used, and that's why you must be remember what is a petromyzon. It is also called lamprey. Okay, this is the photograph which shows you petromyzon. And the next is a myxine. Here you can see myxine, that is also called hagfish. Okay, so these two are the example, petromyzon and myxine. And here in this diagram you can see lamprey or a petromyzon. Okay, this having a cyclostomata mouth. Here you can see this is a unique feature, circular mouth. This is the unique feature. This is sucking type of mouth, and by using these mouth only they will act as a ectoparasite on another host. Okay, so this is the unique feature, and just because of this circular mouth that do not have any type of jaws, okay, and sucking type of mouth, these organisms are included into cyclostomata, because cyclostomata itself, the meaning of cyclostomata is cyclic mouth, which is do not have jaws and sucking type. Now let me discuss another superclass. Okay, that is of species. So here superclass species can further divide into two groups. Okay, you must be remember the superclass species bear the fins. Okay, here it can be divided into two groups on the basis of their internal skeleton. Okay, so here you can see internal skeleton is made up of cartilaginous fishes. Okay, cartilaginous internal skeleton will be there, and here bone containing skeletal system will be there. Okay, and let's say if this presence of cartilaginous this internal structure or a skeletal system, these group of fishes are considered as a chondrichthyes. Okay, and here bone containing skeletal system is there, that's why they are considered as a osteichthyes. So you must remember why this is called chondrichthyes, because of presence of cartilaginous endoskeleton. Okay, and here why this is called osteichthyes, because of presence of bony skeletal system or endoskeletal system. So let me discuss one by one. So to learn about chondrichthyes and the osteichthyes, it is a better method or a best method to learn about these two classes is a comparative study. Okay, if we do comparative study along with this parallel study of a chondrichthyes and the osteichthyes, not one by one. Okay, so here we will learn both the classes parallelly. Okay, to learn these classes very easily. So let me discuss one by one all points with the comparative study. So here one side you can see chondrichthyes is written and one side osteichthyes is written. We will discuss about each point one by one. So first of all, here you can see chondrichthyes are a marine organism, streamlined body. What is the meaning of streamlined body? Here anterior portion and one end is a posterior portion, right? One end is called anterior one and one is called posterior. Both end will be narrow. Whether here you can see this middle part will be broad. So if both end are narrow and middle portion is a broad, then this kind of a structure is called streamlined body. So here this will help in the swimming. Okay, these all organisms are aquatic, and that's why they need help for the swimming, and this body shape will help them to swimming. during the swimming. Okay, so this body of organism will have streamlined body, and they are predaceous. Okay, you have to remember they are predaceous, predate on the another organisms. And here you can see class Osteichthyes are marine, freshwater, even they are found in the freshwater. Streamlined body, here also you will observe streamlined body. And here endoskeleton, internal skeletal system is made up of cartilaginous. Okay, so here cartilaginous endoskeleton will be there. Okay, and notochord is persistent throughout the life. You must be remember. Okay, here notochord is persistent throughout the life. Here endoskeleton is made up of bones. Okay, so this is the major difference between chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. And you must be remember the name of a class just given on the basis of endoskeleton. Why this name is chondrichthyes? Just because of presence of cartilaginous endoskeleton. And why this osteichthyes is written? Because just present of bony endoskeleton. And here you can see the skeletal system. This is the cartilaginous endoskeleton. And just because of presence of this cartilaginous endoskeleton, this class name is given chondrichthyes. Okay, and here you can see this is the endoskeleton, and that is made up of bones, and that's why the class name is given osteichthyes. Okay, so this is the major difference in between these two. Let me discuss another points. Here ventral mouth will be observed. Okay, and here a powerful jaws are there. As I told you, it is a predators, and that's why here a powerful jaw play a very important role during the predation. Okay, here ventral mouth will be observed, and whether you can compare it with this one, if you compare it with the osteichthyes, then here you can see terminal mouth is there. And the anterior portion will be having terminal mouth, not at the ventral side, but it is the anterior side. Here gill slit without operculum. Operculum is the covering structure which cover the gills. Okay, so here cover is not present. This gill slit will be totally open. Okay, naked gill slit will be there. So operculum is totally absent. So gill slits without operculum. Gill covering is not present. Okay, but here in this case, in case of osteichthyes, there is a 4 pair of gills with operculum. Means they will covered with the operculum. Here you can see the diagram. This is covered with the operculum. Okay, on each side this structure will be there. So these gills will be covered with the operculum. So this is the major difference in between these two. Let me discuss another points. So here skin with placoid scales. So whole skin is covered with the placoid type of scales. Okay, one different kind of very special kind of scales are present, and that is called placoid scale, and this placoid scale will be covered on all over the skin. Okay, teeth are modified. Here you can see a tiny teeth structures. Similar teeth this is. Okay, so teeth are modified placoid scale. Actually they are placoid scale and just modification of placoid scale. Okay, and which are backwardly directed, and teeth will be backwardly directed. Here you can see the directions. Okay, and here in this case you can see in class osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes it is a placoid scale, right? But here in case of osteichthyes, here scales are made up of cycloid and ctenoid type of scales. Here you can see this is a cyclic structure. Okay, and that's why they are called cycloid scale. Okay, and they are a smooth type of scales. And here this is a spiny projection containing scale, and this is called ctenoid scale. So here in case of osteichthyes, the scales are present, but it is having cycloid or ctenoid type. Okay, whether here you can see here a placoid type of scales are present. One another very important difference is no air bladder will be found in case of a chondrichthyes. Okay, so here totally air bladder is not present, means totally absence will be there. Okay, so totally air bladder is absence, and that's why what happen, one disadvantage to this organism, they must have to swim constantly just because of absence of air bladder. They have to swim constantly, otherwise what happen, they may sink in the bottom. Okay, so to avoid sinking, they must have to constantly swim just because of absence of air bladder. But here advantages is that here air bladder is present. In this class of organism, air bladder is present, and that will filled with the air. Okay, air bladder is the structure which is filled with the air, and that's why weight of the body will be minimized, or a lighter weight will be there, and as a result of that this organism will be swim on the surface of water. Okay, and that is called buoyancy. So air bladder is there for the buoyancy, and that's why they do not need to constantly swim. Here in this case they have to swim constantly, otherwise they may sink, but here there is no chances of any sinking. Next points, here this organism, chondrichthyes organism, are poikilothermous. What is the meaning of poikilothermous? And that is also called cold-blooded animals. Okay, so meaning of poikilothermous is that it is the ability of organism to maintain the temperature. Okay, but here poikilotherms are the organism that cannot maintain their body temperature according to the external environment. So you must be remember what type of organism these are. Why this is called cold-blooded organism or a poikilothermus organism? Because these organisms do not have any capability to maintain their body temperature according to their external environment. Okay, here same case is there. Here also they cannot maintain their body temperature according to the external environment. Means both type of classes, chondrichthyes or osteichthyes, both are poikilotherms or a cold-blooded. Okay, and next another similarity. This is a similarity point. Okay, and next similarity point is this: two-chambered heart. Here heart is present but having only two chamber. Okay, one is auricle and one will be ventricle. Similarly here two chamber heart is there having one auricle and one ventricle. So these 2 points you can see both are you can see similarities between chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Let we discuss next. So here sexes are separate, here also sexes are separate. Okay, this point indicating the sexual behavior of this organism. So let me discuss about sexual behavior of this organism. So here sexes are separate. Here in this case also sexes are different. That means male and female both are different. But here in case of a chondrichthyes, very unique feature is that in a male you can identify male from the outside because pelvic fin, this is the pelvic fin. It will have a unique structure and that is called claspers. So just because of presence of claspers you can identify whether this is male or female. So this is the male, you can easily identify because of presence of this clasper. But here you can see clasper is not there, so it is the female. Okay, so this is a unique characteristic, and from external structures you can identify male and female just because of presence of claspers. Here internal fertilization will be there and many of them are viviparous. Okay, and here external fertilization is there, here internal fertilization, but here external fertilization will be there and mostly they are oviparous. Okay, you know very well what is a viviparous and oviparous. Let me repeat. Viviparous are the organism which will give direct birth to the child or a kids. Okay, and mostly here they will give. Oviparous are the organism they are giving or egg-laying organisms. Okay, means they will give eggs. So here development will be direct. Okay, you must be remember here viviparous phenomena is there, here oviparous phenomena. Here internal fertilization, here one is the external fertilization. Okay, and here whenever viviparous is there, they do not show any type of indirect development. They will show direct development. And here also direct development is there. Now here in this slide you can see some example photograph along with the names and the another names. Okay, so these are the example which show you chondrichthyes type of classes. Okay, so this scoliodon is included into the chondrichthyes class. Okay, and that is also called dogfish. So this is the photograph which show you scoliodon, which is also called as a dogfish. This is carcharodon and that is also called great white shark. Okay, and this is a prestes, this one. It is also called sawfish. You must be remember this bracket name also. Okay, because very frequently that is asked. Okay, in examination. So you must be remember this example along with the brackets. Okay, so this is a prestes and there is also called sawfish because this structure is looking like a saw. Okay, and that's why the name is given sawfish. And these organism here you can see it has a poisonous sting. Okay, and that's why they are also called stingray. Okay, poisonous fish this is, and that's why it is called stingray. The name is a trigon. Okay, and these fish having electric organ and that is responsible for electric current also sometime. Okay, and this is called torpedo, and the name another name for this is the electric ray just because of presence of electric organ. Next organ you can see the organisms osteichthyes examples. Okay, this osteichthyes example can be divided into three groups. Okay, so based on their habitat, on the basis of their habitat they can be divided. Okay, so if their habitat is a marine water, then this is the example you can see Exochetus. This is called flying fish. Okay, this is the flying fish and that name is Exochetus, and this is unique example. Okay, on the observing we cannot say that this is the fish, but though it is considered as a fish, osteichthyes fish. Okay, and hippocampus this is, and you have to remember each name along with the brackets. Already I told you. Okay, hippocampus, sometime it may be asked as a hippocampus, and if you don't know the bracket, then at that time you may get the difficulty. Okay, so it is very advisable to you, all of you, to remember each bracket. Okay, so hippocampus is also called seahorse. Then freshwater example is a labio, that is also called rohu. Katla, that is even it is also called katla. Then clarius, that is called magur. Okay, and this is an aquarium. This domesticated aquarium fishes, or mostly they are kept in the aquarium at the house. Okay, so this is a betta fish. That is also called fighting fish. Okay, this is a pterophyllum, that is called angelfish. So these all are the example which is included into Osteochthes, and you have to remember each example along with their types. Okay, you must be asked, means it may be asked in exam, which are the marine Osteochthes. So you must be remember the example. Which are the freshwater Osteochthes? Then you have to write down these examples. Which are the aquarium Osteochthes? Like this, it may be asked in the boards as well as in the NEET examination. So you must be remember the name along with the types and along with the brackets. So this is your homework for today's lecture, and before we finish this lecture, let me summarize whole topic by using one animation video. So look at this video.
The subphylum Vertebrata is classified under phylum Chordata. This phylum includes animals with a notochord in the embryonic stage, which is later replaced by a vertebral column. Hence, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Based on the presence or absence of jaws, vertebrates are classified into two divisions, Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Agnatha includes jawless vertebrates, while Gnathostomata includes jawed vertebrates. Agnatha has just one class, Cyclostomata. These jawless vertebrates live in a marine habitat and are ectoparasites on some fish. Cyclostomes have an elongated body with 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. However, their body is devoid of scales and paired fins. They have a sucking and circular mouth, a cartilaginous cranium and a vertebral column, and a closed circulatory system. The life cycle of cyclostomes is unique. They migrate to fresh water to spawn and die within a few days, leaving their larvae, which, after metamorphosis, return to the ocean. Petromyzon and myxine are examples of cyclostomes. Gnathostomata, or jawed vertebrates, are divided into two superclasses, Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces is further divided into two classes, Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes are marine fish with a streamlined body and a cartilaginous endoskeleton. Interestingly, the notochord is persistent throughout their lifespan. Their skin is tough due to the presence of minute placoid scales. In fact, their teeth are modified placoid scales. Unlike other fish, their gill slits are separate and the operculum is absent. Moreover, the absence of the air bladder forces them to swim constantly to remain buoyant. These fish are cold-blooded or poikilotherm and have a two-chambered heart with one auricle and one ventricle. They also have powerful jaws that make them good predators. Some of them also have an electric organ or a poison sting to protect themselves from predators. Chondrichthyes are dioecious, and the pelvic fins in males have claspers. Fertilization in these fish is internal, and many of them are viviparous. Carcharinus, Scoliodon, Pristis, and Trigon are examples of this class. The next class within Pisces is Osteichthyes. These are marine and freshwater fish with a streamlined body and a bony endoskeleton. Their skin is covered with cycloid or ctenoid scales. These fish have 4 pairs of gills, which are covered by an operculum and an air bladder, which maintains buoyancy. They too are cold-blooded and have a 2-chambered heart. Osteichthyes are dioecious, and fertilization is usually external. They are largely oviparous and exhibit direct development. Hippocampus and Exocetus are marine fish, while Labeo, Catula, and Clarius are freshwater fish. While some fish like Betta and Pterophyllum are used in
next
aquarium.
lecture, we will discuss about superclass Tetrapoda, in which we will discuss about Amphibia and Reptilia class. Okay, so till that, goodbye.